Welcome all. This video session discusses measures of variability, measures of dispersion or variability. Describe how spread out the values are in a distribution. That is, amount of spread of the scores around the mean. Distributions with the same mean can have different amounts of variability or dispersion. So the most common methods of dispersion or variability will be discussed in this session. The measures of variability are range, quartile deviation represented as QD, standard deviation SD, and variance. What is range? Range is the most basic measure of variation. That is the difference between the highest and lowest value of the given distribution. It provides a quick estimate of the variability of the two distributions. It is the distance from the smallest to the largest value in a distribution. That is range equal maximum value minus minimum value. An example is given, marks of 10 students. So the highest value and lowest value is taken. Highest value is 70 and lowest is 20. Range is 70 minus 20 equal 50. Range is calculated based on two extreme values. So it may mislead the variability of data if extremes are rare. That is why it is not a meaningful statistics, as other values do not have any significance. So we use other measures as variance and standard deviation. Standard deviation is used most commonly. Next we will see percentile. Before going to quartile deviation, something about percentile can be discussed. Percentile or a centile is a measure used in statistics indicating the value below which a given percentage of observation in a group of observations fall. The percentile of the variable divides the observed values into hundreds or 100 equal parts. Example, 30th percentile is the value or score below which 30% of the observations may be found. Percentile 1 or P1 is number that divides the bottom 1% of the observed values from the top 99%. Percentile compares the performance of one with that of others. Example, if a student's grade is 90th percentile, it means 90% of the students, 90% of other students are below this student and 10% of students are above this particular student. It doesn't mean 90% mark. 90th percentile means 90th% of the students are below and 10% of the students are above. Median is the 50th percentile. 25th percentile is the first quartile. 50th percentile as the median or second quartile, Q2. The 75th percentile as the third quartile or Q3. Now we come into the quartile deviation. Quartile divides the distribution into 4 equal parts. So 4 equal parts of 25%. Q1, Q2 and Q3. Q1 is the lower quartile, Q2 is the median, Q3 is the upper quartile for the given data set. Therefore, quartile deviation QD equal Q3 minus Q1 by 2. Interquartile range equal 75th percentile minus 25th percentile. That is all about quartile deviation. Just we come on to variance. Variance is the average of the square differences from the mean. That is the mean square deviation. But standard deviation is the square root of the variance. So variance is the average of the square differences from the mean. Variance measures the average degree to which each point differs from the mean. The value of variance is equal to the square of standard deviation. Variance is symbolically represented by standard deviation squared, S squared, or variance x. The first symbol, that is the Greek symbol, sigma, is denoted as population standard deviation. SD or S, sample standard deviation. So variance is symbolically represented by the sigma squared, S squared, or variance x. Coming to standard deviation. Standard deviation is the average distance from the mean. It is a measure of the spread of the scores around the mean. It measures how far away each number in a set of data is from their mean. So the mean is given, the spread of the scores around the mean, how far it is from the mean, how close it is from the mean. That is standard deviation, average distance from the mean. If the standard deviation is large, it means the numbers are spread out from their mean. If the standard deviation is small, it means the numbers are close to their mean. Low standard deviation means data are clustered around the mean. High standard deviation indicates data are more spread out, that is, values are far from the mean. Standard deviation is denoted by the Greek letter sigma, population mean. The population standard deviation usually represented by Greek letter sigma. Already I told you the sample standard deviation is represented by SD or S. Then steps to find out variance and standard deviation. Find the mean of the data. When the data are given, first find the mean of the data. Then find each score's deviation from the mean. That is, subtract the mean from each value. Square each deviation of the mean. Find the sum of the squares. Divide the total by the number of items. That is the variance. Take the square root of the variance. That is standard deviation. So variance is standard deviation squared. Standard deviation is square root of the variance. The formula is standard deviation is root of sigma x minus x bar whole squared by n. This can be explained more clearly with an example. Mean, variance, and standard deviation. The data of marks are given, that is x. Marks are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I have taken small figures to make it more clear. The sum of these marks are taken, that is 75. Mean is sigma x by n. Here sigma x is 75, n is 5. 75 divided by 5 is 15. Then next column, deviation from the mean, that is x minus x bar. X bar mean is 15. So each mark 5 minus 15, 10 minus 15, 15 minus 15, 20 minus 15 and 25 minus 15 is found. Next column is squared deviation, that is x minus x bar whole squared. Here 100, 25, 0, 25, 100. Then the sum is found 250. Variance equal standard deviation squared, that is x minus x bar whole squared by n. That is 250 divided by 5 equal 50. So mean is 15, variance is 50, standard deviation is root of variance, root of 50, that is 7.07. Thus, we have found out the mean, variance and standard deviation. Hope it is clear. Thank you.